Welcome to Whiskey's a Journey. My name is Peter Fasciano. We are finished with my single pot still Irish whiskey series, and we are starting a new series, this time with international whiskeys. We are leaving the Middleton Distillery. We are going to head way down and over to New Zealand, and we're going to be taking a look at Thomson Whisky. The expression that I have right now is their South Island Peat Single Malt, their progress report. It's coming in at 46% ABV. I am not sure if it's natural colored or chill filtered. My guess being, since it's 46%, it may not be chill filtered. And looking at the color, it may not be artificially colored, but I don't know. Nothing is saying that on the label and nothing says it on the box. This also does not have an age statement, so it's an NAS, non-age stated whiskey, and it is made from New Zealand grown malted barley. And stated on the label, they are using the smoke to dry the barley from the South Island peat. So they're using their own peat to actually dry the barley as well, or to smoke it. The single malt is aged in ex-bourbon barrels. This is a 700 milliliter bottle, and I'm thinking it's somewhere around $100. Not exactly positive, but just looking online really quick, I think this is coming in at $100 US. And before I go any further, thanks Trey and Talissa for picking this bottle up for me while you were down in New Zealand. I really appreciate it. All right, as you can see, I've already poured it. Let's go ahead and nose it, taste it, talk about it just a little bit. And then if you stick around until the end, I'm gonna give it a score. All right, there is a little bit of peat in here. I wouldn't say that this is overly peated. And then back behind the peat, there is a sweetness. The sweetness I'm getting would probably be somewhere around the vanilla area. Lighter fruits, maybe peach. Doesn't smell too complex on the nose. It's pretty, and I hate to use the word basic, but it's tastes or it smells pretty basic. Like no surprises are coming out of the glass. Yeah, peat, vanilla, and peaches. So it's smoky sweet. Let's go ahead and get it on the palate, see what I think. All right, the peat note is coming across as ashy. The vanilla notes are there. The ABV, the 46%, kind of spreads across the tongue. A little bit of tannin on the side, not to the point where it's bitter. It does make my mouth water a little bit, and I think that is the peat and the sweet. And the peach note that I picked up on the nose is coming across on the palate as well, but also maybe a touch of a grilled pineapple as well. And I don't know if the pineapple, let me know in the comments down below, is a youthful spirit. Does that come across as pineapple? Because I have in the past picked up a pineapple note in non-age stated whiskeys. And I'm just curious if that note is actually coming from the young age. Let me know in the comments down below. Let me get that second sip, talk a little bit about it a little bit. I'm gonna add the water and then we'll give this thing a score. All right. Nothing really seems to change. I still get the ashy, fruity, pineapple, peachy note. Pretty good with the ABV, 46%. Doesn't seem to be very viscous, and it's a touch thin. Let's see if water does anything to this. Not gonna add a whole lot, maybe a couple of drops. Roll it in the glass, talk about it, and then go in for another taste. All right, so Thomson Whisky, and this is new to me, so I'm going to refer to my notes. Thomson Whisky was actually founded by Matthew and Rachel Thomson back in 2014. And they started out as independent bottlers. They actually got old stock from a defunct distillery in New Zealand whiskey from Willbank Distillery that closed in the mid or late 90s. As they were selling that old stock, they started to produce their own spirit. And one of the things that Matthew Thomson started to experiment with is the Manuka wood. And anytime I think of Manuka wood, I think of the Manuka honey. And I don't know if those are related or not. They also produce a little bit of gin, and then they also have obviously this experimental or progress report South Island peated version as well. And as I was doing my research, looking at some videos with Matthew and Rachel, they started this out not wanting to copy the style of Scottish whiskey. They're setting out, and I think most people that are in the international market as far as whiskey producing, I don't think they want to replicate like the Scottish style of whiskey. So they're trying something that might be a little bit different on their own, and hopefully the terroir of New Zealand is going to impart a specific style that is going to be unique to New Zealand. Obviously, time is going to tell. And then in my head, I don't think they ever specifically said this, and I don't think I actually saw this in any of the research. And when we're taking a look at the label, when it says progress report, I think that just tells me that they're going to be releasing bottles along the way just to get this out into the public, just to show people like where they're at as far as distillery goes and where they're heading. So you can kind of keep up with them. Each individual bottle might be just that, a progress report showing you what they're doing. I don't know if that's true. That's just my guess when I see progress report on the label. And they also don't want to represent themselves as this old school distillery. They kind of want to get a modern edge to their business and to their labels. So they're not trying to pretend like they're this distillery steeped in tradition, because they are pretty much brand new, and they're kind of setting their own individual fingerprint into the whiskeys that are coming out of New Zealand. And I don't really necessarily know if the facility that they're actually producing the whiskey in is theirs, but I do think that their pot still that they're using within that facility was hand hammered and modified by Matthew Thomson himself. All right, so that's pretty much all I have for the history of the whiskey and the distillery. All right, let's go ahead and see what the water has done, see if it's changed it, and then give this thing a score. All right, so the water has thinned out what I would perceive as a thin whiskey already, or a thin single malt. The ashy note is there, the fruit note is there, so everything seems to be toned down just a little bit too much with that added water. I think it does taste youthful. I do think it is pretty thin, and I think the consistent notes from the arrival to the mid palate to the finish is all the same. You're getting the ashy peat, the vanilla note, and a little bit of sweetness from peach and pineapple. And that's pretty much it. It's not unfolding into anything different. It's not very complex. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing. Now, as far as it being maybe anywhere from $80 to $100, are there other peated whiskeys that I would reach before this one? Yeah, probably. But I'm not disappointed that I have this bottle. And being an international whiskey, and then this channel being Whiskey Promiscuous, I'm not going to be too disappointed that this is sitting on my shelf so I can offer it up to people that are curious about international whiskeys. So with all that being said, I am going to score this. Hold on. If you're new here, my scoring system is out of 5 stars. And because of everything that I just said, I'm going to give this a pretty much average score. I'm going to give this 3 out of 5 stars. It's good. It's not great. It's not something that you're going to sit down for hours and dissect and try to find different notes out of it. It is what it is, and it's decent. So 3 out of 5 stars. So with that, that's where I'm going to leave it. Let me know in the comments down below if you are familiar with Thomson Whisky, if you have had their Manuka smoked, if you've had their progress report with the South Island peat, if you've had their gin, if you've had anything from Thomson, let me know in the comments down below. If you're new to this channel and you are not subscribed to it, and you like this information, do me a favor and subscribe. Just go and click on that little subscribe button down there. Post some comments down below. Give me a like if you like this video. Turn that bell notification on, because I produce videos and post them every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And with all that, I hope you enjoy your journey, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.